As everybody's noticed, Carmen's not here. So as you all enter into the end of week 5, going into week 6 of your biggest transformation, your reward is you get to spend time with season 8. So we're here to handle the show for Carmen tonight. We'll get into introductions in a little bit, but I'm Brett White from season 8, and as you guys have heard Katie talking, and I cannot call her Catherine, it's Katie. She's my daughter. So, with that, welcome to the meeting. And first thing we're going to do is step on the scale, and let's see how you all did during the last week.
Daughter, 201.3.
Okay, so here's your standings from last week. In 6th place, down 2.6 pounds, 2.20%, Susan. In 5th place, down 6.4 pounds, 3.05%, Deborah. In 4th place, down 10.7 pounds, 4.81%, Catherine. Katie. In 3rd place, down 12.9 pounds, 6.09%, Donna. In 2nd place, and Donna's appears to be closing in, down 22 pounds, 6.58%, Laura. And in 1st place, down 13.4 pounds, total of 8.93%, Hannah. So congratulations. By my calculations, that's a lot of weight lost in 5 weeks. So well done to everybody. I'm not going to bother you with all the math. So you've got us from season 8 here to talk to you today. And what we're going to talk about tonight is habits and how habits affect your, more than weight loss, how habits affect your life and where we are because of our habits, how we got where we're from our habits. So just to let you know, from my background, when my wife signed us up for this program, I weighed in at 230 pounds and was climbing. In the 6 months, well, the 5 months we've been in this program, for the 6 months, I've lost almost 70 pounds and I'm back to the weight that I was in college. And it's because of this program, but more importantly, it's because I started recognizing habits that had been hurting me, and I refuse to admit. So we're going to talk about how habits affect your life. We're going to ask you to look at your life. We're going to talk about what it means. Okay, I ignored the fact that I was technically obese, and I ignored the pictures that showed me that way. I had all sorts of excuses about how strong I was and that I could still lift a lot of weights and I could still get the work done. But the truth was, I was carrying a lot of extra weight that didn't do me any good. It gave me a fatty liver issue that I was looking at having to go on medication for. It had cholesterol levels that were as high as they've ever been at the levels that my dad was at when he had a heart attack. And I had bad cholesterol that was also not at a good, the highest levels ever. And doctors basically told me, you're going on medications. And I said, no way, not if there's something else. So this program, I am now no signs of fatty liver. The good cholesterol is high, the low cholesterol is lower than it's ever been. And it's all about changing habits. So you have to recognize what your habits are. And that starts with first admitting them. Okay, a habit by definition, and I won't read you from Webster's because I assume everybody can read. So if you want to look up the actual definition, but a habit is a repeated action, usually something you do involuntarily. For me, the habit was I've got work to do. I'm grabbing a Mountain Dew and some peanut M&Ms. And like I told Carmen, it wasn't the 12-ounce or the 8-ounce can of Mountain Dew. It was the 24-ounce bottle. And it wasn't the regular peanut M&M. It was the share size because I was going to be sharing it with myself and my Mountain Dew. And that package slowly got bigger over time. It started off as a small one. It got bigger and bigger over time. Coincidentally, so did I. And that's what we want to turn around. So I'm here to I guess, testify to you, to tell you this program works. By changing your habits, and by changing your habits, you're going to change your lifestyle. But don't make a mistake. The habits that we built, that I've built, and I'm going to assume that a lot of people that are in this program are in the same way, you've developed over years and years of time. It's not an easy thing to change a habit overnight. It takes repeated action. I won't consider myself successful on this journey until a year to a year and a half from now. I'm still at the same level I'm at now because I know how long it took me to develop the bad habits. So now I'm going to look at how long is it going to take me to create the new ones. And to override a bad habit with a new good habit is harder than developing the bad habit in the first place. You can't outwork a bad diet, and my bad diet was a result of a bad habit. I exercised regularly. I ate horribly. So the exercise is good, but you have to be able to move on and realize it's the balance of everything. And so with that, because I could ramble on, most of the season doesn't know that because I very rarely talk. Even Katie will tell you, like, this is probably more than she's heard me talk since last Christmas. But I'm going to introduce to you one of the two most important people in my life. I have God at the top, and then I have my wife and my kids. So I'm going to introduce you to my wife, who's the reason I got into this, to let her explain to you where's next. So without further ado, Emily White.
Like Brett said, habits they can be good or bad. So, but what I've noticed is they're usually associated with a cue. So for example, I wash my hands after I use the restroom because hand washing is associated with the event of using the restroom. But if I just go in my restroom or my bathroom to brush my hair, I don't feel the need to wash my hands afterwards. So that's the cue for that habit. And then health is a result of habits. So when we started the biggest transformation, my body fat was 29%. I had also developed the bad habit of skipping meals, and I kind of liked the feeling of being hungry all day so that I could eat whatever I wanted for dinner, just a huge dinner, and still not gain weight. So over the decades, I started to not enjoy being hungry all day. So I turned to sipping a Coke all day, which did start off with a McDonald's large, and then it went to 2 of the big bottles a day. And so basically that habit, all it did was alert my pancreas to shoot out insulin all day long, and excess insulin is stored as fat, hence the 29% body fat. So I would try to change, but my bad habits were what I thought was quick, easy, sustainable, and seemed like healthy habits were just hard. It was always like, okay, today I'm going to drink water. Okay. And I would just give up by noon. Coworker would bring in everyone's order from McDonald's, and that would be it. I'll start tomorrow. And then probably most of my adult life, I have this habit of eating at night when everyone's asleep. But what we do in private shows up in public. So the result of that habit was tighter and tighter clothes. So no matter what I wore, I couldn't hide the results of the habit of overeating at night. So basically, what we do in private eventually shows up in public. Spending habits are a thing. They can be good and bad. But since I'm about quick and easy, those spending habits have definitely resulted in plenty of credit card debt and student loans. But also speaking about habits, the habit of how we treat our spouse shows up in our marriage. For example, if I didn't make what Brett feels important to him a priority to me, why would he be motivated to make what I feel is important to him? He words it better than I do, but so the result of that habit of making your spouse's needs important results in a very great marriage, or if you don't do that, a very difficult and unhappy marriage. And first step is figuring out the destination. So since we started the biggest transformation, Carmen has taught us that we must ask ourselves daily, what is my goal? And after speaking with Aisha, probably more than once a day, we should ask ourselves that just all day, ask what your goals are, and that'll become a habit. And sometimes I wanted to say, this program is still a little bit surreal. And sometimes I think I don't want to think about my goals anymore. I just want to quit, eat whatever I want. So I wanted to say the importance of the second phase has really, really impacted me, because as much as I kicked and screamed through phase 1, I probably should have done better. But then you go to phase 2 and you're like, wow, I'm really still not free. I have to do what these people say. And it's great. And then I feel like I've surrendered, and I'm like, okay, all right. It's just become a habit, despite even being my own worst enemy. Like, so it's really, really important, I think, the second 12 weeks. And I just wanted to also ask you to think about, if failure wasn't an option, what would your health look like? Would you enjoy going to the doctor more and making everyone gasp and say, wow, what are you doing? Would you walk your dogs? Would you enjoy picking up your kids or your grandkids and getting them piggyback rides? Or how about being able to hook all the grocery bags to one finger and make one trip into the house? That's a big one for me. That's fitness. But they're just little things, but they're really huge. And if failure wasn't an option, what would your body look like? Do you have a vision board? Have you printed your goal outfits? If not, start on that now. And then the last thing I wanted to say was, writing this out for you guys has really kind of refreshed my motivation. It's kind of self-motivating. So I'm preaching to myself too. I'm definitely not perfect, but so this was really valuable in that sense too. And I wanted to say, you will have a day where you drive by McDonald's or your favorite place and you won't want it. I promise. It's going to go away no matter what. I promise. Yes. Okay. And so here's Amber, our wonderful daily sweaty selfie hero. And she's going to talk about, what habits do you have that do not line up with your goals?
Hi guys. I'm Amber and I just wanted to start with saying thank you for letting us crash your meeting. It's a joy to be included in your journey even just for an hour. Um, like Emily said, my topic is what habits do you have that do not line up with your goals? And to start, I printed out this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's from our original packet. It says old bad habits versus new good habits. And it was so interesting for me to fill it out one more time and realize that when I first filled it out, my good habits were so small and my bad habits were so many. And as time goes by, I'm moving it over. But I wanted to share with you some of the bad habits that I have that did not align with my goals. And I'm quite certain they're not unique to me. But being aware of them is super, super important so that we can work on them. My first one was not being thoughtful and planful with my food. I would really just eat anything that was convenient as I was driving around or anything I could grab. Never planning ahead, never ever, and just getting caught off guard. I have 3 kids and we do so many activities and it's so much fun, but we're always caught somewhere, but not anymore. We pack snacks, we plan all the things. And a big one for me was never ever taking a lunch during my workday. So I would just snack all the way through, and having a plan is so helpful for that habit for me because now I don't miss lunch and I'm on plan. Another one is being ultra busy. I think I just spoke to that one. Not being aware of my end goal made it so hard to stick to anything. And now that I know where I'm headed, I can plan for it and get there with my good habits, kicking off the bad ones one by one. Not being consistent was leading to me having to make mistakes on my tracker and having to play catch up. So that one's really hard for me. Still working on that one. Not prioritizing my workouts in the morning. For me, if I don't do it first thing in the morning, it won't get done, or it'll be like a lazy partial workout. So I've realized for me, a habit that I have to do is do my workout first thing, log onto our group and do my sweaty selfie. Just be accountable to me. Getting snacks out of my house. I have to go through my house every week because they just creep in from everywhere. 3 kids means snacks for sports, snacks for activities, just junk food galore because they want it. Birthdays. So I've started, I think a little bit too late, but cleaning the pantry out every week to keep those things out because they're my weakness. All the snacks all the time were my weakness. I'm working on it. Eating without noticing what was going into my mouth. I work from home on the other side of the kitchen, so I used to just walk by, grab a snack, eat it, and keep going. And owning my mistakes and checking in more frequently because it's so easy at the end of the day to just show your sheet and kind of move on. I'm trying to do better about owning it and saying, this is where I screwed up, really owning it, doing better, making that a really big habit. And then finally, a habit I really need to focus on is eating on plan because I am a sucker for celebrations and partying with people, and I need to work on that. But those are habits, bad habits, but I think being aware of them and working on them is only going to make us better. And next up, we have Nisha.
So to summarize, the most important thing that I think I got out of this, and the most important thing I'd like you all to remember, recognize what your bad habits were, and you've got to replace them with good habits. It is not going to be easy. You guys get to do this going into the Christmas holidays. So if you have kids like, my wife and I do, and grandkids, there's going to be a lot of cookies around and other, fun things to eat. Being able to say no, or to cross those off, or to have it when it's just that treat that you get for achieving a goal, that's a new habit. It's a new way of living. And it is absolutely worth it. Carmen's program is the best that I've seen. And I've tried a lot of different things. So, and I'll give you one last thing. When Emily and I were on a trip to Ohio with our son for a competition, we went out, had dinner one night, and Finding a restaurant was tough that met our goals, but we had to do some research. But right outside that restaurant was a sign that said, being healthy is hard. Being unhealthy is hard. Choose your hard. And that kind of struck, like, we were right in the middle, I think, probably going right into the second month. And that kind of hit home, like, holy crap, like, yeah, it's hard, but it's not as hard as it was being unhealthy. So with that, now we get to go to the questions where you all get to talk. The first question is, how did it feel picking out your goal outfits for last week? And I have to keep reminding myself what an outfit is because guys don't have them. But for all of you, and we'll start with Donna, how did it feel picking out your goal outfit last week?
Felt good, but it was very hard. I'm not a shopper. I mean, my daughter Hannah will attest to that. I'm not a shopper. Very rarely do I go into stores to shop. I've retired now a couple of years, so it's t-shirts and capris or whatnot. So it was hard picking out those outfits, but I enjoyed it also. Gave me a goal to work for.
Well, good. I'll give you guys a heads up. You will be shopping at the end of this program because nothing will fit.
Okay, so yeah, for me, it was mostly hard only picking 3, but I had a fully loaded Pinterest board already. So yeah, narrowed it down to 3 that I thought were worthy to show Carmen. And it's definitely like it gives you a little pep in your step seeing those. And I love the idea to print out and have like kind of add it to the vision board of a goal outfit to just keep that in the back of your mind. Because I mean, every outfit I saw, when I see a girl in a cute outfit that I like with blonde hair, I can just easily put my face right in there. So I got to add that to my vision board.
All right. So for me, it was a lot of fun. I'm a little bit like my mom in that I'm not a big shopper. Like I will wear clothes until like I even if I get a hole, like I'll show you right here. This is my favorite blue jean shirt and it has a hole right here in the sleeve. Instead of throwing this away, I'm going to fix it and I will wear this until it falls apart completely. So I don't go shopping often. And I think part of that has always been because I felt like the clothes that were in my size weren't cute. So this was fun for me because I was able to actually look for things that I thought were cute and that I would wear. So I picked one that had shorts because I never wear shorts because I've never liked how my legs looked in shorts. So that was pretty cool. And then I picked what I call a power outfit for work because I've always been very, I don't know, I've never felt out. I've never felt very cute when I go to work. And so I picked this power outfit that like if I wore that to work, like I would kill it that day and everyone would know who was in charge. And then the last thing that I picked is a short dress, because again, never wear a short dress because I don't want anyone to see my legs. And it also has like a teardrop out of the back and it is sparkly. And like I know if anyone ever like most people who know me who see those photos would probably not think those would be outfits that I would pick, but that is how I would dress. I would enjoy dressing that way if I had the confidence that I'm getting in the body that I have.
Hello.
Yeah.
This exercise was fun and not so fun. I don't ever feel confident or how I look in clothes. So I hate shopping, but I love shoes because cute shoes don't make you look fat. But like Hannah, I chose 3 outfits. One is a more casual look. One is a more dressed up look, and one would be something that I could wear to a business meeting or something. But in choosing them, it was like, well, am I choosing the right thing? This isn't, the outfit that I'm looking at is not maybe a statement outfit that I should be choosing because of it be supposed to be a goal outfit. But it was still a fun project. I did discover that the outfits that I chose were more for the fit, because I try to wear clothes that are loose fitting, not tight, because I'm trying to hide the problem areas that I have. And ironically, like Hannah, I don't wear a lot of dresses, because I don't like how I look in a dress. And everything I picked except for my casual outfit was a dress. So, and then it was like, I never wear shorts, and I haven't worn shorts in probably 20 years. And so then it was like, I needed to look for an outfit that had shorts in it. And so, it has sparked, this little wheel running in my brain of looking at different outfits that I would not look at previous to this, because it's like, I'll never wear that. So
I am a shopper. I'm surprised there's not many shoppers in this group. Unfortunately, I have a wide range of sizes in my closet, so I feel like for the first little while, I can definitely be pulling stuff out of my back of my closet or my second closet or my third closet. So I can shop, I feel like, for a while for the clothes I own. But for the 3 items I picked, I definitely picked items that at the size I could never wear. Somebody I had previously mentioned in a different meeting that I feel like sometimes in the plus size they're just not the most stylish in the colors, and it's just like there's just a lot of basics, but there's not anything that you're like, wow. So I picked some black leather pants. In the summer, I love like a cute romper that doesn't add volume, doesn't make me look heavier. And I would love to get some tall boots. I feel like there are some wide calf tall boots, but even those sometimes are tight and uncomfortable. And so I'm excited to get down there and make some of those purchases.
Okay, so I do enjoy shopping, and probably the thing that I like the best, I figured out that if my clothes do not feel or fit the way I want them to, then it makes me fussy and grumpy, and I just kind of have a bad day. So that right there is enough motivation for me to make sure that they just stay the course. And then obviously every now and then I'll buy a few new purchases. But the main thing is just, I don't like how if they fit too tight, it just makes me have a bad day. So that was pretty much my motivation for my outfits.
That's good. So you've got yours picked out, they're set, they're ready to go.
Yep, they are. And I've got some new ones as well. But the main thing, and I've even got some that I still have that I just don't like. If I don't like the way it fits, then it's just going to put me in a bad mood. So, and I don't like to be in a bad mood.
I get that. I'm in a much better mood now. I've lost this weight myself. So, all right. So let's move on to our second question of 3. And we'll go through the order again. So this one is, what is one habit that must change for you to reach your goal? So we start with a nice, fun one, because that's the way this program works. Start with something nice and fun. And now, if you're totally honest with yourself, what is the one habit that you must change in order to reach your goal? And let's go back to Donna.
The one habit I must change is I'm not a planner. as senior citizens, we go shopping once a month to the big box stores and I get filled up the pantry. So then every week or so we would go get milk and eggs and things like that. So I have to be a planner. Just keep my foods for my containers on hand. So that's what I have to do, is become a planner. Become more like my daughter. She plans out months and years and days and weeks, and I do good getting from day to day. But I am staying on plan because I have it in my freezer or in my pantry or in the refrigerator. So I am staying on plan, but I need to be more of a planner.
Okay, so I really, truly am not stealing Donna's thing. I have to piggyback off of her because truly the weeks that I have meal prepped, I have lost the most weight, and it really takes the thinking away. Even though the head wants to play around with, you could do this and that, when you've put in that work during the weekend to meal prep, you just know I've meal prepped, and it can seem a little daunting to meal prep, but it has paid off. And that is one of the things that I want to become a habit, and I want to be a self-proclaimed meal prepper. So yeah, that's mine.
All right, so mine is, it's already changed because of being in this program, but before this program, it was very normal for me to have a glass of wine, maybe two, pretty much every night. You know, that was my, I've had a busy day, or it's, you know, I'm trying to cook and the kids are yelling, I've earned this, right? So it was very much became a treat, and I was using it to relax instead of doing other healthy things that I could do to relax. So when it was a no alcohol for the 6 months, I was like, wow, that's going to save us a lot of money. But it's been great. It's actually been easier than I expected it to be. I'm not gonna lie, once we're done with the program, will I plan to have a drink occasionally? Yeah, like if we're out to dinner or something like that. But I think I can already see the change in that it's not something that I miss on a daily basis, right? I definitely am not going to go back to, it's 5 o'clock on Tuesday, let's have a glass of wine. So that's the biggest thing for me.
So, my one habit that needs to change for me to reach my goal is I struggle with the meal prepping. I do know that the weeks that I have made it a priority on Sundays to meal prep for the week is more successful. But whenever, like this past weekend, it was extremely busy and didn't meal prep. And so today was a big struggle for me. And so I have to figure out how to make meal prepping easier for me to do.
The one habit I think I must change is I have to put myself first. Even at work, I feel like I have to take a lunch break or I'll work right through it. I could definitely take a break in mid-morning or afternoon and walk a few laps versus just sitting for so many hours in a row. Sometimes I'll sit for so long and so still. My computer, my lights in my office will like automatically turn off. And the second habit or second thing I must change is I'm trying to learn to love vegetables. Vegetables are still a little bit of a struggle for me.
Okay, the habit that I need to change is I have figured out that when if I procrastinate doing something in my office, then I would walk through the kitchen, and that's when my office is at my house. So mainly I figured out when I walk through the kitchen, I'm like, why are you in the kitchen if you're not hungry? What am I procrastinating? So I figured out that I walk through the kitchen when I'm procrastinating doing something. So then I just make myself turn around and go back and do the thing.
Sounds
except
good.
maintain what you're doing. So the big thing, keep up what you've been doing. Keep up the good work. Looking at just in 5 weeks, just from the standings today, stay on the containers, stay on the workouts, develop a plan, stick to the plan. Mine is always the same every morning. Work out, shake, recover, read the Bible first. I start every day that way, no matter what. And that has made a world of difference for me. Wherever you plan your workout, be consistent about it. And then you guys already talked about all the things that you want to do for yourself. So now start making sure you work that in. Even if it's a 5-minute break, just 5 minutes where you walk around the block to cool your head, clear your head of everything. Whatever helps you, keep that up. And we are all here. We've been, we went through what you've gone through so far, and we're here to help you. Do not be afraid to reach out.